The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions for the first time in franchise history. Philadelphia upset the New England Patriots Sunday at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis.
That's right, Brian. Backup quarterback Nick Foles. Yes, Nick Foles and the Eagles just beat the greatest quarterback in one of the greatest franchises of all time.
We've been in Minnesota all week chronicling the events leading up to the Eagles' win and have the sights, sounds, and stories from the Twin Cities in WEBN's special presentation of the North Star Super Bowl.
Carson Wentz was putting together an MVP caliber season for the Eagles, but he suffered an ACL tear in Week 14 and has been out for the season.
Losing a quarterback like Wentz would usually spell disaster, but thanks to a versatile offense and the efforts of backup QB Nick Foles, the Eagles went on to win their first Super Bowl in franchise history.
From coach to quarterback, Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles has become Philly's underdog hero. But where was Foles just over 2 years ago? The backup was actually considering retirement after a disappointing year with the St. Louis Rams, in what he called a difficult but productive time in his career.
And to wake up and not want to throw the football, and just, for me, it was going through experiences, going through things, and just to where I woke up and I just didn't have that joy, and it was scary for me. Growing up in Texas, I always played football since I was a kid. Just, it was tough, but going through it was the greatest thing in the world.
When Wentz went down in Week 14, many had taken the Eagles out of the Super Bowl conversation. But fast forward a little over a month, and the team has really seemed to rally around Nick Foles, which has got the attention of many players around the league, including Tom Brady.
Pretty amazing. I think that shows what he's all about. He's been a starter in this league. He knows what he's doing. Their team has a lot of confidence in him. He's had a great year. For the time he's been in there, and our defense has a big challenge. They got a lot of guys to stop. Nick Foles is a great player. They've got great backs, great group of receivers, tight ends, phenomenal, great offensive line. I mean, there's a lot to defend, so it's not an easy game by any stretch.
On top of being a Super Bowl MVP, compliments from one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time could go to your head, but not for Nick Foles. Despite the extensive praise from both teams, he wanted to make it clear that he knew who got them in this situation in the first place.
This is Carson's team. Obviously I'm playing like this is, I've had to take it over and do that, but, Carson's a tremendous player. I'm going to say it once more, I think he's the MVP of the league. I've enjoyed being around him each and every day. We've grown closer and closer through everything that's gone on, but, he's there in every meeting. He's doing everything he can. Obviously, he's rehabbing to get back and get healthy, and I'm excited for his future. I'm excited to, be a part of him coming back to the game, just to be a part of that. He's got a bright future ahead of him.
With 1 year left on Foles' contract, the Eagles can be sure that they have the dynamic backup hero for at least another season. Reporting for WEBN Sports, I'm James Kwan.
The Super Bowl, both the biggest sporting event in America and an incredible headache. Minnesota is preparing for the arrival of over 1 million football fans, and keeping them safe is priority number one. Local police officials began meeting with the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security 2 years ago to develop a strategy for security.
But just as the New England Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles have put together a game plan to prepare for every possible situation they could face on Super Bowl Sunday, law enforcement has done the same thing.
Super Bowl 52 presents a unique challenge for Minnesota's FBI, as the game itself is just one of dozens of events taking place in 3 different cities: Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Bloomington, home to the Mall of America. Like any high-profile event, the FBI's intelligence sharing protocol is key to keeping the Super Bowl safe.
The center of gravity for us is kind of this intelligence operations center. And so it's kind of a fusion hub of different agencies that all come together in our field office for us to quickly compile information and then share it as expeditiously as possible.
Over 60 Minnesota law enforcement agencies were activated to participate in securing the Twin Cities, but Van Ness believes the heightened police presence isn't something fans should worry about.
It is a friendly, warm presence, and they're here to make sure that the game will be safe and accessible for all. Many things that the fans will not see are things that have happened behind the scenes, and so there will be other security measures the fans will not even realize are in place.
Thanks to the efforts of Minnesota law enforcement, fans had only one thing to worry about on Super Bowl Sunday: the final score.
Most head coaches spend their entire careers trying to get to the Super Bowl without ever making it to the big game. Eagles head coach Doug Peterson remarkably got there in his second year ever on the job, while also galvanizing his team to the #1 seed in the NFC. If that wasn't improbable enough, Peterson never even thought he'd become a head coach in the first place, let alone getting the job done in one of the NFL's most passionate cities.
You know, I thought I was going to get into coaching my last couple years there as a player, but did I, I always felt like I was going to be either a quarterback coach or maybe even a coordinator in this level. But great opportunity, great organization, and I'm thrilled to be the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Peterson's humble approach to his success doesn't prevent him from getting the recognition that he deserves. Patriots head coach Bill Belichick praised Peterson on his use of personnel and offensive style.
It gets a lot of people involved, gives you a lot to defend, and very aggressive. They get the ball down the field, they run it well, they pass it, get the ball outside, get it inside. He's done a great job, and it's good offense, and we got good players, and they're well coached. He does a great job calling plays.
Eagles players expressed their pride for their head coach during media week, which makes sense as Peterson led them from a 7-9 record in his first season to a Super Bowl appearance in the next. Wide receiver Torrey Smith explained to us just what exactly Doug Peterson means to their success and their team this season.
I'm glad. I'm happy for him because I know a lot of people were doubting him. I remember first week of camp, people were asking us questions about if we think he's qualified or not. He's more than qualified. He's proven that. And he's a great coach, and he deserves to be in this position, and we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him.
With a Super Bowl championship under his belt, it seems like Philly has a lot to be excited for with their new head coach. Reporting for WEBN Sports, I'm James Kwan.
Coming up on WEBN's special presentation of the North Star Super Bowl, we'll have more coverage of the Pats and Eagles. Plus, we'll hear from NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell.
But first, LeGarrette Blount and Chris Long both played integral roles in the Patriots Super Bowl championship run last season. Blount led the NFL in rushing touchdowns, and Long helped anchor that talented front four.
And this time, while wearing Philly green, they got to hoist the Lombardi Trophy in front of their former teammates.
They were asked about it all week, and so by Thursday, LeGarrette Blount and Chris Long were tired of talking about how different the Patriots and Eagles are.
Gosh, I don't know how many times I've answered this question in the last 2 or 3 days. I mean, we're both winning programs. We won 13 games. I think they won 12 or 13 games. Ultimately, we're meeting here in this game.
Blount was with the Pats for their last 2 Super Bowl championships, but found a new home in Philly this season, since a blockbuster Halloween trade has worked alongside Pro Bowl running back Jay Ajayi.
Just bringing 2 rings to the room, being able to share those experiences with them, being able to know his role, understand his role, accept his role. I mean, it's been great, man. I have no complaints.
Pats QB Tom Brady has seen many players move through New England, but he looked fondly on the 2 new Eagles.
I love LeGarrette. He and I have always kept in touch, exchanged text messages all the time. I really enjoyed my time with Chris. He's a hell of a player. He made huge plays for us last year. He's a great leader, practices his butt off, great enthusiasm. I have a ton of respect for him. I hope he doesn't hit me too hard if he gets a shot.
Long donated his entire $1 million salary to charity this year, something he felt he needed to do given today's social climate. Thursday, he again reflected on how lucky he was to be playing football on its biggest stage.
I always realized that I waited a long time to be here, but a lot of players never get to be here. So it's a real blessing for me. And, just having played with 2 locker rooms full of awesome dudes, lifelong friends, including some of the Patriots that I've kept in touch with. When you win a championship together, you got a real brotherhood, and you got to put that on hold for this week. But very lucky to have played with 2 locker rooms like that in 2 years.
While Blount will explore free agency this summer, Long has 1 more year on his deal. Both will be looking for their 3rd straight title next season.
It's no secret Patriots head coach Bill Belichick isn't the easiest guy to impress. But there he was on opening night, singing the praises of Eagles defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz. Schwartz worked for Belichick as a personnel scout with the Cleveland Browns.
I couldn't say enough good things about Jim Schwartz. He's one of the smartest people I know. Guy can handle an infinite number of things at the same time.
While Belichick gave Schwartz his start in the NFL in 1993, Schwartz said it wasn't originally Bill's idea. It was at the urging of Belichick's father.
There's no doubt in my mind I wouldn't be sitting here right now if it wasn't for the chance that Bill Belichick gave me. And I'll even layer that one more, and I'll go to Steve Belichick, because Steve was the guy that introduced me to Bill.
Schwartz grew up in Baltimore as a fan of Steve Belichick and the team he helped build at the Naval Academy in Annapolis. After leaving the Browns, Schwartz went on to coach for the Baltimore Ravens, Tennessee Titans, Detroit Lions, Buffalo Bills, and now the NFC champion Eagles, and he's well aware of how his past has come to define his present.
But my first introduction to the NFL was from Bill Belichick, and those are your formative years, and those are the things you carry through the most.
Belichick may be nearing the end of his coaching career, but Schwartz is an example of how he'll leave a lasting impact on the NFL.
If it looks like a catch and sounds like a catch, it's not always a catch. Not in the NFL, at least. The league has dropped the ball in enforcing their definition of a catch. The result? General confusion about what the league considers a catch should look like. Eagles wide receiver Torrey Smith explains his frustrations with the rule and examples of its misuse.
I mean, there's probably 5 or 6 calls this year that just flat out don't make sense. But they are clear in their definition. But sometimes it just doesn't make sense, like the play in the Steelers game. I don't know how that's not considered a football move. Travis Benjamin's catch in the back of the end zone, I don't know how that wasn't a touchdown.
Along with the injustice done on players, fans feel the impact of officiating inconsistency as well, which has made the issue one of high priority to the league commissioner Roger Goodell.
And I think we have some very good ideas that we're going to submit to the competition committee. I think there'll be a lot of focus on going to the ground, which I think has been part of the confusion for everyone with respect to that rule. And I think we've got a great opportunity here to get this rule right so that everyone understands it, appreciates it, and that's not the focus going forward.
With players and fans alike dissatisfied with the current rule, changes seem to be on the horizon. Hopefully next year, the issue won't slip through the league's hands again. James Kwan, WEBN Sports.
There have been 2 constants throughout Tom Brady's life: football and family. And at this point in his career, Brady seems to have mastered balancing his love of the game with his love of his wife and 3 kids.
Yeah, I think every probably parent thinks the same about that. Sometimes you worry that you're giving too much to your job. Sometimes maybe at your job you think you're not giving enough time to your job. I think that's a big challenge for everyone.
But make no mistake, family has been the most important thing in Brady's life. It all stems from how he was raised.
Yeah, my parents mean everything to me. I mean, they've been here by my side every step of the way, every game in high school, college, pros. I mean, I call them after every game, and we've always had a very sports-centric family, and we all kind of ride the waves. We're a very emotional family, and everyone kind of rides the waves of emotions, and when one of us isn't doing well, I think it affects everybody. And
with Brady turning 41 in August, he credits his support system with being a big reason why he's playing at such a high level at an age where most players have long since retired. Not only does he lean on the Brady family, but the Patriots family as well.
I like to think he's got a good group to come to work with, the players that he works with every day, our coaching staff. I mean, we're all in it together. We have a lot of fun in our meeting room. We have a lot of fun at practice.
But when the season ends and the pads are put away, Tom Brady can't wait to go from superstar quarterback to dear old dad.
I love the time that I have with my family. I love the time I have with my kids. I'm really looking forward to, being with them a lot more often. I think my kids are looking forward to that too.
One sentiment echoed by players from both teams was that their faith in God was paramount to their success on the football field this season.
Our reporter James Kwan has more.
We've seen them point to the heavens after a touchdown or a big play. In the Super Bowl, these spiritual thank yous take on an even greater meaning. In media availability this week, several players and coaches talked openly about how their belief in God is the reason for their success.
obviously, starts with my faith and what I believe in and the way I start my day every morning. And if I don't spend time 20 to 30 minutes just sort of in kind of in the moment, I've got a couple of devotional books that I read and just want to spend that time. It just sets my mindset, puts it in the right frame of mind for the day, and then I can tackle anything. And I think it's it's a credit to some of our players on the team, some of our leaders on the team, and it really just kind of gives a calming presence to the entire group.
On the other side of the field, Patriots defensive back Stephon Gilmore has a similar appreciation for what faith can do, and more specifically, where it has taken him.
It's a blessing, God really blessed me to be in this situation, from last year to this year to being in this position. It's hard to get to the Super Bowl. It's hard to be a great team in this league, so you got to really take advantage of the opportunity you're in, and I think you have to do that and enjoy the moment and go from there.
Players from both teams have put their faith on display by giving thanks for their ability and talking about what their faith means to them.
It means at the end of the day, we know we're blessed with talents, but never forget who gave you that talent. And that's Jesus Christ and God himself. I mean, I know every day I'm extremely grateful to be in the position I am, but if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. So I just try to give it all to him and try to be humble because, I'm nothing more than a servant for God's will.
They say pro football is a young man's game, but not in Super Bowl 52. As the two oldest NFL players both played in the Super Bowl for the Patriots. They are 40-year-old quarterback Tom Brady and 39-year-old linebacker James Harrison. Both have meticulous methods for preparing their bodies and minds for the gridiron, and believe that's why they've been able to play a combined 32 seasons.
I think a big part of that, honestly, is because my body feels good, and I've worked hard at trying to figure out a routine so that when I wake up in the morning, I'm excited about going to practice because I know my body will respond. I think for a lot of older players, their body doesn't respond. Football is no fun when you're hurting.
No, it's no way. You can't put in the numbers of hours, the work without having the body work that comes with it to repair all the damage that you're doing. Even when you work out, you're doing damage.
Harrison was underestimated out of high school, overlooked in college, and cut by the Steelers in December. Those flights have always been the fuel to his fire.
The older you get in this game, the more doubts they have about you.
On his social media accounts, Harrison showcases the cupping and acupuncture, in which he invests over $350,000 annually. And he's always been known for putting up weight in the gym. His new teammates call him a great teacher and loved what Harrison brought to the locker room.
Just how much work he puts into his body to keep strong, to keep fit, to keep setting that edge. It's just an unbelievable process and just an inspiring process too that just shows that if you put the work in, if you put the dedication in, that you can just keep on going.
Gronk is no slouch in the weight room himself. In spite of being younger, taller, and heavier, Gronk wants no part of Harrison's routine.
Pretty crazy. I won't be able to do that much weight. That's nuts. He's a big boy.
Gronk has given the TB12 method a try, but it's unlikely he'll still be in the league when he reaches the age of Brady and Harrison. The Minnesota Vikings came within one game of playing the Super Bowl in their own stadium, but they fell to the Eagles in the NFC Final.
But despite their team not being in the Super Bowl, fans still turned out in sub-zero temperatures to enjoy the week's festivities.
The Super Bowl is back in Minnesota for the first time in 26 years, and the Twin Cities have plenty for fans to do in the week leading up to the big game. In the Minneapolis Convention Center, you'll find the Super Bowl Experience, the amusement park of every football fan's dreams. Here, you can get tons of merchandise, customizable game balls, and yes, your very own picture with the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Over at the Mall of America in Bloomington, fans can experience Radio Row in all of its glory, and maybe even meet some of the Patriots and Eagles, as both teams' hotels are on the property. And while Vikings fans would have preferred to see their team in the Super Bowl, they still showed up to take part in all of the festivities and enjoy their state being in the national spotlight.
We're just proud to be hosting it and to have everybody here, and it's just running so well, and our host committee is just remarkable here.
It's pretty cool. I love everything about the NFL. It's cool to have all this experience here, the players here, fans from all over the country talking about Minneapolis. It's pretty cool.
The Super Bowl may soon be leaving the Twin Cities, but for the fans in attendance, the fun had and memories made will last a lifetime.
Colin Kaepernick didn't play a single snap of football this season.
But the impact he had on and off the field helped spark a national conversation surrounding social justice, one that made it all the way to the White House.
The NFL held its third annual RISE conference on Friday, hoping to raise awareness and address social justice in the NFL and the nation.
We got to keep encouraging the players to stand for what you believe in. We got to keep encouraging the owners. What you're doing and supporting your players is the right thing to do.
The Ross Initiative in Sports for Equality, aka RISE, held its third annual Super Bowl Town Hall at the Mall of America in Bloomington. NFL players and executives engaged in a passionate discussion on race relations, Colin Kaepernick, and the importance of using their platform to enact social change.
If we know right from wrong and we see wrong, I think it's our duty to speak out against it.
Founded in 2015 by Miami Dolphins owner Stephen Ross, RISE is a nonprofit organization that uses sports to promote understanding, respect, and equality. Much of the work RISE does is through pro athletes, and CEO Jocelyn Benson knows how important their impact can be.
I think it's important for every citizen to be an advocate for their issues and to ensure their voice is heard. And we see that in particular among athletes who have a unique role in our society and are unique leaders on and off the field to use that role that they have.
The town hall concluded with a look back at 2017, and Baltimore Ravens tight end Benjamin Watson believes there are a few questions to keep in mind when analyzing the past and looking ahead to the future.
As we look back on this season, we're going to say, you know what, this is just a continuation of our growth as a nation. How do we step into it? How do we make things better? How do we challenge ourselves and challenge each other in a variety of issues?
We'll see if 2017 ends up being a turning point in the NFL's fight for social justice.
This year's NFL honors were a celebration of the best performances and players from 2017.
The final award of the night was the Walter Payton Man of the Year, given to the Houston Texans' J.J. Watt for raising $37 million for Hurricane Harvey relief.
But many current and former stars were excited to talk about the charities and foundations they give their time, money, and effort to. In Houston, J.J. Watt is the man. Around the NFL, he is the Man of the Year. The Texans' defensive end was named this year's Walter Payton Man of the Year award winner for helping fund Houston's recovery after Hurricane Harvey ripped through the region. Watt raised $37 million, and through his viral campaign, he saw how important athlete outreach really is. The Man of the Year award was named for Walter Payton, who is a star on the field, but also works tirelessly outside the lines to help those in his communities. His son Jarrett is excited about how much so many athletes do to give back. Former Patriots tight end Benjamin Watson, now on the Ravens, was a finalist for the award along with Watt and Carolina tight end Greg Olsen. Despite having to manage 5 kids in a football career, Watson has authored 2 books, started his own foundation, and been active in every community he's played in.
Well, I think it's important for all of us. You know, no matter what your occupation is, it's important for you to serve in some capacity. Because we're all been blessed in some way. As an athlete, obviously, there are more eyes, more people are watching. You have an opportunity for more people to see you. It doesn't mean you're any more important. It just means that more people are paying attention to what you are doing.
Hall of Fame tackle and 1991 Man of the Year winner Anthony Munoz runs his own foundation to try to help youth in the Cincinnati area. He's seen how much of a difference athletes can make in kids' lives. During the honors ceremony, the NFL revealed the Hall of Fame class of 2018. The Patriots had 2 finalists in Ty Law and Randy Moss. Thursday, before the newest class was announced, Bill Belichick was asked what he thought about his former players and the group as a whole.
Yeah, it's hard for me. I don't really know what the criteria for the Hall of Fame is, so it'd be hard to comment on that. But I mean, I had great experience coaching those players. They performed very well, certainly at an extremely high level for me. I have tremendous confidence and respect for all 3 of the ones that I coached, and Ray and many of the ones there that I coached against.
Saturday, the NFL chose 8 new members, including former Ravens great Ray Lewis, Philadelphia safety Brian Dawkins, and of course, Randy Moss. But even before the award show, Tom Brady thought his former teammate would fit into the beige jacket just fine.
Randy's a Hall of Famer, so, and I played with a lot of guys who were exceptional. Randy was an incredible player, teammate. I mean, his style of play was really unmatched, and I was lucky to play with them.
Moss played for a plethora of teams, most notably in Minnesota and New England, and made his mark on the league with his sizzling speed and sensational grabs down the field. If Brady or Belichick ever decide to retire, they too will be joining number 81 in Canton. A lot has happened since the Eagles beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. There have been headlines swirling around Foxborough all week. And the biggest question after Sunday night was why the Patriots didn't play Super Bowl 49 hero Malcolm Butler. He didn't play a defensive snap, and the Pats wouldn't give an answer as to why number 21 wasn't on the field when the Eagles dropped 40.
We put the players out there and the game plan out there that we thought would be the best tonight, like we always do.
As they were focused on the game, the Patriots wouldn't address the rumors surrounding the exit of their coordinators to head coaching positions before or after their Sunday night loss.
I'm not going to talk about that tonight. I'm not going to talk about that tonight.
D coordinator Matt Patricia became the Lions head coach this week, but the Patriots were able to keep offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels in Foxborough. After making a verbal agreement to take over in Indianapolis, the Patriots got one more last laugh on their rival Colts, as they made a strong pitch to their OC, complete with a hefty raise, contract extension, and agreement to integrate him into more personnel decisions. McDaniels decided to keep his family and his job here in New England. But whether he'll have Rob Gronkowski as one of his weapons on offense remains to be told, as the tight end is going to evaluate whether or not to play next year.
I'm going to sit down the next couple of weeks and see where I'm at.
Rob, what would make you retire?
I'm not ready for these type of questions right now. Sit back, relax next couple of weeks, and I really got nothing to say about that right now.
Whether the 28-year-old has spiked his last football is still up in the air. Our reporter Javier Rodriguez has more on the Pats' loss.
The Boston Common sounds a lot quieter than usual, but at this time last year, Pats fans flooded the Common to celebrate the Patriots' Super Bowl win. This year, they're mourning their loss.
It hurt. It hurt a lot. We were so close. It was right there.
The Pats lost to the Philadelphia Eagles 41-33. Fans hoped for another fourth quarter comeback, but Tom Brady couldn't work his magic.
We had to see the Tom Brady Hail Mary. I was really disappointed not to see the catch. The thing is, you still have that little bit of chance until the clock hits 0 with the Patriots. You always think they're coming back. You always think they're going to pull it out, and then this time they just did it.
But not everyone was heartbroken. This couple from Buffalo, New York came to Boston this weekend for one reason only.
We came to watch the Patriots lose the Super Bowl, and that's exactly what we did. So we almost got into quite a few fights because we were doing the Eagles fight song at the end there, and not many people liked it. Watching the Patriots lose once was good for us.
Seeing the Patriots lose is great.
The Pats may have lost this year, but fans believe there's always next year.
We found this jersey in the street, and as a new Bostonian, I think the message that we have is that the Patriots do not give up. We picked up this jersey, and we're going to take it, and I'm going to wear it next year when we win the Super Bowl. Absolutely. Preach.
Until then, Boston is coping with a big loss, but in Philadelphia, they are celebrating the Eagles' first Super Bowl win in history. In Boston for WEBN News, I'm Javier Rodriguez.
Thanks for tuning in to WBN's special presentation of the North Star Super Bowl. From the Mall of America here in Minnesota, I'm Joe Jacobs.
And I'm Brian Dana. We'll see you next year at Super Bowl 53 in Atlanta.